What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Roll and Keep, our weekly TTRPG live play, where this incredible cast, look at these people, encounter an endless variety of adventures, worlds, and settings, all powered by the Cortex Prime RPG system. This guy right here. Our current setting is Hammerheads, so think like emergency first responders in a near future where climate change has gone amok, completely fictional. And so it's this group who's tasked with defending the world from these kind of natural disaster calamities in the spirit of movies like San Andreas or Armageddon or 2012 or Volcano, my personal favorite.
Deep Impact.
Yeah. Oh, Deep Impact. Yes. We have an absolutely incredible cast. Aliza Pearl, Mellie Doucette, Adam Bradford, Vanessa Guerrero. I'm Joe Starr. And of course, our game moderator for Hammerheads is Cam Banks. And I cannot think of a better person to teach us the ropes of Cortex than literally the guy who wrote the book. His name is there on the cover. A little bit of broccoli, and then we'll get into it, guys. Follow us on Twitter at Cortex RPG. Make sure you're subbed and belled and everything that you need to do on YouTube and Twitch at Fandom Tabletop. We've got all the links in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, so check those out. We are live on Twitch every Thursday, and then VODs drop on YouTube every Monday. And tune in live when you can. This is a super fun show to watch live, and to thank you guys for hanging out with us live on Twitch. We're giving away copies of Cortex Prime. Giveaways are triggered for heroic successes, which is when we roll 5+ above the set difficulty, and for eliminating crisis pools. That is all the business. Thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out with us so that we can play this super fun game. Hopefully you roll lucky and get yourself a copy of Cortex. That said, guys, welcome to the show. We're so glad to be back again, having some fun. I'm going to turn this over to Cam Banks, our game moderator, for the next episode, as every car alarm on my block goes off at once. I love working from home. I'm going to give it back to Cam Banks for our second episode of Hammerheads.
All right. Thank you for the intro, Joe. It's very good to hear the world around you surrounding us with the pleasant sounds of disaster. Last week, well, just get this into a better way of describing it. We're going to go now to the Global News Network recap of what happened in the first episode. So just for some context for those folks here, your characters, before I go into that, we want to go around the table and announce who we are, so that makes most sense. You can describe yourself. Don't forget you've got a call sign, and that is what everyone knows you by on the team of Hammerheads. Other than that, though, feel free to just ad-lib a couple of sentences about how awesome you are, because everyone's going to find out how wrong or correct you are about that later on. So starting with Aliza.
Hello, everybody. I am Aliza Pearl. I'm playing Micah Johnston, aka Flourish. And she is a retired ballroom dancer who decided to not spend retirement just chilling, but to go help save people. And so that's what she does. She's an urban landscape specialist.
Awesome. Vanessa?
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I played Doolittle. She's a former animal cognition scientist, and she mostly studies African greys to see how anything that's alive responds to a disaster or a chaos in large groups. And she's very good with her science, and she's very good with her birds. People, she's kind of new at. And that's why I love seeing her around people and being on a team, because those interactions should be fun.
Cool. Mellie?
Yeah, I'm playing Nesting Doll, Anushka Bayatov, who used to work for the military and was involved in a bunch of cover-ups and other sketchy things, but kind of turned a new leaf to decide to use her powers of hacking and mechanics for good, hopefully.
Joe?
I play Sam Butters, aka Soft Boiled. He is a former Air Force pararescue turned lawyer, and he has used those careers to parlay himself as a famous podcast host that rails against things like conspiracies and secret evil cover-up. So he gets along super well with Nesting Doll, and he's here to prove that the world does not need hammerheads.
And last but not least, Adam.
I'm playing Hank Haddix, aka Haymaker, who was formerly a professional wrestler, and he parlayed that celebrity and fame into probably, you know, pulling some strings to get into the Hammerheads program when he probably wouldn't have qualified otherwise. And specialty is firefighting and ultimately, apparently, trying to drop kick water towers.
All right, so the news footage is live. We have reporters who are calling in and explaining the aftershock of last week's episode, which was a aftershock being most appropriate. There was an earthquake in San Narciso County, specifically the city of Cortez City, which is in California on the West Coast. There was a 7.2, I believe I said last time, earthquake, and this also led to a lot of liquefaction and landslides and so forth, but also a great big fire in the Cortez Civic Center, the downtown area. This also meant that there were traffic snarls, that people couldn't get off their on-ramps onto the motorway to get the highway to get out of there. It was a big mess. And so you've got this footage of this. You've got the camera, that some parts of it say live. There's all this sort of carnage, there's burned buildings, there's people putting together parts of their lives. This is about a day or two afterwards, okay, from last time. And the anchor is talking about how, you know, after the city's recent troubles with their funding and trying to get the sort of local government together, Mayor Elwood Carver had implemented numerous changes to infrastructure and promised all kinds of things. And then the earthquake happens. And lo and behold, from out of nowhere, this flying vessel, this huge VTOL ship, shows up and spits out a whole lot of heroic individuals who come down and try and push over water towers from buildings in the Civic Center, but also organize a way to put up signage and redirect the panicked crowds out of the city. You can see various shots of this happening, and the people watching this is live. Flourish and Doolittle and Haymaker and Nesting Doll, you're watching this in your crew area. This is not necessarily on the Hammerhead itself. You've got a kind of a launch platform that's located off the coast. This is where you can land the Hammerhead and you can put more of its resources back on and load it up and then dispatch yourself out. It also has a really nice crew lounge. It's really nice, well appointed. You've got all access to the kinds of things you would want to have in such a place. Good coffee machine, a big fridge filled with kombucha, which in this part of the timeline is now everywhere, like everyone's having it. So let's just have it so that you're watching this unfold. You're seeing them talk about it. There's a moment when the anchor turns and you see this sort of recorded shot of Flourish down there with signs and putting them up. And she's got her Hammerhead's outfit on, the uniform, directing people. And she says, and then we have this individual who, despite all of the carnage around her, bravely came forth and started assembling some kind of messaging system. And you can see that happening. Flourish, you see yourself on screen. This is the first time any of you have actually seen this in your actual uniforms. Your past lives, maybe, but now we're talking about it in the point of view of your action lifestyle. So what is your response to that as you're watching it?
Flourish, looking good, good. The PR department's going to love that.
Nesting Doll, excellent choice on the costume colors. You're right. I'm glad you fought for black.
It's very important to get the right color. Otherwise, it's not going to look good in contrast with fires and explosions. You can't get good contrast with white.
Adam, what's a scene that comes up next that you want to have Haymaker respond very urgently to? Because you can see the anchor pointing out there's a kind of a B-roll of stuff going on behind her as she talks about it. One thing to notice while this is going on, they also have like another screen to the side with just a sort of a talking head rabbiting about something which you can't hear because it's off to the side on the screen, with the chyrons below and everything. But they're obviously talking about something at their network end. So you've got footage, the anchor talking about things, and then something else happening.
So Haymaker sees something on the screen, and he sits up and kind of winces as he feels his back again. And apparently there was a cell phone shot of him jumping in front of the people that the cracked earth was about to consume and kind of covering them up. And he gets the other angle of his back being ripped to shreds. And so he sees all of that blood and gore. And at this point in time, I had no idea it was that. And you see him start to get kind of queasy a little bit, and he starts to get up, and he's walking toward some kind of receptacle.
Like, it's okay. It looked like American hamburger.
Yeah.
You like hamburger, right?
Well, I used to. You see that Haymaker is trying to hold down a little bit of a vomit response to seeing what happened to him.
And there's even like some blurring out to try and make it not so bad for the general viewing audience of prime time, but it's clear.
Haymaker has an active imagination.
Yeah, Haymaker, it's not even so much a hamburger as it is more like just like actual hamburger helper, just like a fresh skillet of hamburger. Like that's what your back looks like.
Little man, I will end you. No more.
Just point of note, Joe, Soft Boiled is not in this room, the crew room with you.
He said that over the comm.
Yeah. Anyway, so Vanessa, there's a moment for Doolittle when you see yourself coming out of the bottom of the hammerhead, which, as you know, at the time, Howard the African Grey was coordinating that landing a little bit for you. Describe that scene as it comes up on the screen.
Hey, look, they have Howard's best angle. How did they get that shot even? Drone? I'm so proud of him. Oh my God. Somebody get soft-boiled in here. They credited him as the bird.
All right.
Look, it says Butters.
The anchor then says something, that's all happens, and then touches her earpiece. And okay, yes. And after all this, the mayor, apparently there was this sight of someone going into City Hall from this team, and we have a quick shot here of that. And then you see like a recording of soft-boiled Sam Butters running into the building, which had the City Hall, which you had tried to go to try and figure out why there was a problem with the local government assistance for your Hammerheads. There was some resistance in trying to get in touch with the mayor. So you see him running into the building. That's all you see of him in this whole lot of footage. It's just one shot of him. But I'm told that we have live direct contact with, Sam Butters, which I think most of us are known for from his radio podcast show and also his punditry. Mr. Butters, your call sign soft-boiled. We'll turn into you now. Then there's a screen comes up, and it's just like a still shot of Sam's face, because it's not actually like a video or anything. But definitely it is, in fact, Sam on the other end of the line talking to this news anchor.
Oh, no.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on again. It's good. I haven't seen you since that ridiculous mayoral recount back a couple years ago. So it's good to be back. A lot of reports, coming from Cortez City of obviously the media wants you to think that this mayor was obstinate in the face of this massively globally overreaching program, but the mayor is well within his rights to respond to disasters as he so sees fit. I want you to understand, no one's questioning the bravery of these folks. Mika Johnson controlled this town, kept the civilians calm. Lives were saved because of these people. However,
is he ever going to get your name right? I wonder.
I just Mike. Sorry, go back. Sorry.
I was just commenting on the news.
Harold gets it.
But ultimately, again, we have to continue to question the value and validity of a global organization that has a bird flying their plane.
Now, as this is going on, the other four of you are watching this live, actually in this this sort of shot, and you can't hear him. He's obviously somewhere else. He's with you. I mean, he was here when you guys landed earlier, but he's not in this room now. The anchors, yes. Wasn't it true that there could have been more done to help save the Cortez Civic Center, which is, as you know, a landmark in California and protected by heritage trusts?
I mean, absolutely. Hindsight is difficult in situations like this, of course. But in the case of the Hammerheads program and the funding behind it, my daddy always had a saying: "You can only fit so many clowns into the clown car."
Hmm. And do the others of you have any feedback on this as you
Did
watch?
he just call us clowns?
How dare he? I scientifically know exactly how many clowns go in a clown car.
I mean, I think he's funny.
Funny, certainly is funny.
So maybe you could tell us, Mr. Butters, who really is funding the Hammerheads, because that's of great importance to our viewership. We really want to know what kind of involvement do a foreign interest have, perhaps.
Well, of course, we know on paper the sorts of folks that are funding this thing, but to answer your concern there, I think that's an ongoing answer, that's an evolving answer, and that's why I've decided to become a part of this program. Again, to quote a wise man, something my dad always told me growing up is, the best way to study a kangaroo is sitting in its sticky pouch. So I want you to know I'm gonna stay in this pouch until I really understand, what makes this kangaroo hop.
I understand. Well, we have some very important questions to have to ask you soon. I think we're going to go to some commercials now. When we come back, we'll get the inside details of the real money that's been flowing into the World Crisis Agency and the Hammerheads group. As she's saying this, also all throughout the landing area, the depot that you're at, and in fact over the air with on Sam's end on his recording, you can hear the klaxon sound of a World Crisis Agency alert. The Hammerheads are being called up for a disaster.
I say we take off without him.
Oh, well, we can't do that. He's part of the team. He is assigned to us. We have to take care of him and everything. So
I don't want him in the sticky pouch if that's how he's going to act about us.
Or in the clown car.
Or have any ideas about what goes on in a kangaroo's pouch. He doesn't know.
Exactly.
I mean, how many of us do know? I don't know anything about kangaroo.
I know what happens in a kangaroo's pouch.
What does happen?
But anyways, are we leaving him behind or are we taking him?
Taking him, of course.
I mean, we
should
should
take
probably collect him just to make sure he doesn't do any more damage. But Micah, I think that you should have a conversation with leadership when we get back, because I would do it, but it probably would not go very well if I did that. So
No, I think that's why you should do it.
okay, all right.
I'd like to see that.
Let's collect him and see what's going on. But this one's definitely going down in somebody's notebook. I don't take notes, but we definitely need to keep this in mind.
Here's the thing, too, though. I mean, the Hammerheads have PR, so I wouldn't be surprised if we and/or Softboiled will be hearing from PR soon about things that he has said publicly.
Yeah.
There are consequences to actions.
Exactly.
All right, Nesting Doll, if you want to contact him, I'm not talking to him right now.
So I'm
Well,
going to
actually,
try to ping his communication device so I can just find him and get him.
Nesting Doll, you're actually getting a whole lot of info coming through on the line because the alert does trigger your normal protocols, which is to say the WCA sends you the information about what the crisis is, where you have to go and all that kind of thing. Then that goes straight into your inventory management system, which means you have to organize what resources you pile onto the Hammerhead. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Okay. Sam, you're on the Hammerhead vehicle. That's where you made your broadcast from. You climbed back onto the HQ, and you're up there, and that's where you had to cut off. I'm assuming you're going to stop that call and not do that anymore.
I think, yeah. So I'm off the call, and I think at this point, with the klaxon going, Sam has run to find where the rest of the team is, and is already like trying to put on his jumpsuit. It's just like, what's everybody just standing around hanging out for?
Nothing, buddy.
Come
And
in.
Haymaker comes up and just slaps him really hard on the back. Welcome back aboard.
All right, so you're dealing with an oil rig issue. This is off the coast. It's about 30 miles off the coast of California, or Oregon, probably more accurately. There's a research and oil refinery place that seems to be like partly sort of a science-based situation where there's a team of scientists on there, but also a whole crew of oil workers. So they've got some advanced drill that they were working with, and trying to get more out of the natural environment in terms of resources. Something happened to it. The WCA says that part of your actual mission will be to try and isolate and figure out the actual cause of this problem. But there was an explosion on the top level. If you imagine, most of these oil rigs look like a kind of a sort of platform with the posts that go down. This has the same kind of setup. There's like a big factory type thing on top of it with some towers, and then it goes down, and there's a big central column where the drill is probably located. So at the very least, what your problems are is trying to get people off of that rig, and then sort of ascertain what kind of damage has been done so that you can stop anything worse from happening.
In this report that we get, does it tell us is what exactly is happening on the oil rig, or is it falling? Is it broken? Is it cracked? Is there fire?
There is some kind of structural damage. They haven't really told you any more than the fact that it might be something to do with the actual operation of their drill, and therefore that has led to some other subsequent damage to the structure itself. But it is not safe to be on, and there are no doubt going to be more problems that come out of whatever's happening. You've got this, like it's maybe 20, 30 minutes after it started happening, the WCA got in touch with you. Their response time is quite good because of satellites, and they oversee a lot of news feeds and things as well. Probably not entirely legitimately. You're not too sure about that. Nesting Doll has a bit of an understanding of maybe the potential reach. But as all of you are kept from that kind of behind the scenes information when you get it, you'll just have to find out more when you get there. But yeah, definitely there's some kind of element of rescue and some element of stopping anything worse from happening to this rig structure.
All right.
Who's got the best handle on architecture in the team?
I have some knowledge of architecture in terms of urban structures and landscapes.
You've seen a lot of buildings.
I've seen a lot of buildings. I've been in a lot of buildings. I've been in the green rooms of a lot of buildings as well. Green rooms that were converted back rooms and warehouses even. So
I nominate Flourish as team lead for this mission.
I also nominate her.
Well, I already nominated her, so you're going to have to vote for her.
I vote for him.
Yes.
Haymaker is so saucy today.
Well,
He's
I'm a
in sour
little
mood.
upset because team members run their mouths off to the media, but we won't name any names or talk about that any further.
Hank, it's okay to be upset about your back, all right?
My back
But
is
don't
fine.
take it out on little butters.
Little butters. She said little butt. All right. Micah,
All right, so-
team lead. Sounds great. We're in agreement?
Or
That means that Micah's going to be the deciding order of play when we get to the crisis. It also means that, as usual, most of you are going to ignore exactly what she says and do whatever you want. As happened to Haymaker last time, it's all fine.
that's not true. We did exactly what he said.
Just our versions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he,
so
he made a mistake of asking for our suggestions.
that's the crisis in a nutshell. Actually, it's 2 parts. It's 2 crisis pools. We did this last time. We know how this works. There'll be 2 things separately to deal with. They're going to be the actual damaged rig structure itself is one of the crises. You know, will it collapse? Will it fall in? Will it blow up? And then there's rescuing all the workers and the science team. That's another crisis pool of its own. So that's 2 crises to deal with. Once you eliminate one of them, it goes away. We're all happy. And then there's the added bonus of our viewership getting free access to a Cortex game handbook. So, but this means that Nesting Doll, who is the quartermaster for this team, unless you've decided to default on that and give it to someone like, I don't know, Butters.
If somebody else wants to, say so. Otherwise, I can definitely continue quartermastering.
Not Butters.
Butters. I just want to be an agent of chaos.
This means assigning the resources to your vehicle. Hammerhead
I have no, yeah. Whoever would like to do it. Do either of you want to do it?
Nesting Doll wants to.
All right, I'm gonna do it because nobody else is speaking up. So, resources. This is out at sea, yeah. So we probably want to make sure we have some land sea air support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Feel good about that.
Sure.
Probably looking at what's the
You got 7 dice to split up, and you can put
Yeah.
a maximum of 3 extra dice on each of these pools, which already have a base of 1.
yeah. Can you remind me what the tactical support includes?
Tactical support includes the barriers we had used of last time, includes anti counterterrorism materials and other kinds of things. It does include some weaponry, but most of it is non lethal.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you know, things like it's got smoke grenades and other kinds of things. If you really had to use that kind of stuff for some reason, then you've got that access.
Yeah, I'm seeing that it includes explosives, which might be
Mhm.
helpful if stuff is like blocked that we have to like get through. I'm gonna put a little bit in there. I feel like
Yeah.
IT network support because we're far away from. We probably want to set up some kind of stations. Anybody have anything that they're really passionate about us putting dice into?
Probably medical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I see 4, 5, 6.
Food and shelter might not be necessary this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're good.
My
on
big one
that.
will be air and sea support
No, I get
for
hungry.
rescue and all that good stuff.
Yeah, if Haymaker
Yeah.
wants a pizza, he may have to put that out of his own resources.
Pizza.
So, how many
5,
dice?
6, 7. Okay. Okay, so unless anybody has anything different to say, I'm thinking tactical support. We'll have so this is on top of the base one, putting 1 in there, IT network putting 1 in there, putting 2 in medical supplies, and 3 in land, sea, and air support.
So
I'm good.
1 tactical support. And what else?
1 IT network,
Got it.
2 medical supplies, and 3 land, sea, and air.
Very good.
Feeling good about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
Sounds
a
good.
handy dandy sheet that you can get from Hammerheads itself, which I just use for my own benefit. All right. So Hammerhead 2 streaks off at the speed of, well, supersonic after loading up its resources from the depot, and you are now within a very short moment of time going to be arriving at this rig. Now, we have 2 potential Hammerhead pilots, as we always do. One of them is Doolittle and one of them is Softboiled. You 2 have the Hammerhead pilot training package at the most of anyone else. So, Micah, who is actually going to be given the role since you're team leader?
Oh, sorry. That's me.
Yes,
I'm
that is you.
Micah. I'm Micah.
Yes, you are.
I keep going
Okay.
between call sign and a character name and player name. I'll try and use call signs. How's that?
Whatever you like. I'm just getting used to being called by my character name. Okay, so I think Am I just saying who's going first, or am I giving an actual order right now?
You will be in just a moment.
Who's piloting?
Yeah, who's piloting?
I think
Got it.
as you're checking out like heads up displays and all that good stuff, Softboiled does butt in a little bit and is just like, if it matters, Flourish, this is my wheelhouse. I'll take a stick on this if you want me to.
Sure.
Kind of like you take that microphone, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That is good because we will need Doolittle's crowd control just to make sure we can safely get people off of this oil rig. So
Yeah.
All right, Butter, you have the stick, as they say. Did they say that?
So we'll put
I think they say that.
we'll put Softboiled up first in that case for the turn order. I will tell you in advance though, there are 2 4d8 crisis pools. These are 8-sided dice. Each of them has 4 things. And last time we had a bit of a trying to figure out the actual nitty gritty of those things. Normally, what happens is we try and remove those dice by your actions each time you have a turn. You can do something that will affect one of the 2 crisis pools. You also have to choose when the crisis pool goes in the order. Once Flourish has chosen who goes first in the round, each of you then determines, once you've had your go, who goes next, right? And that means you can also nominate the crisis pool to go next. In this case, I want to give you a bit of a sort of an explanation of what those particular problems are going to be, so you can then have a better understanding of where you want to try and target your actions. So in the case of the oil rig itself, the structural problem, as you're approaching, some of your sensors on this Hammerhead pick up, they're pretty advanced. So this is state-of-the-art stuff, and using sonar and radar and other kinds of sensors and UV light switches. There's clearly oil that's going to be spilling out of the cracked drill head area. So that's a thing you might have to contain. That'll help you to preserve the structure of this problem. There are fires breaking out all over the rig structure itself, on the surface of it, where the deck level, so to speak. The drill itself may need to be repaired or investigated to try and maybe sort of shore that up, and so it's not quite so much of a problem leading to further things. And then there's actual structural damage on the pillars that are supporting it. So these all 4 areas are things you could try and target, and you'll help reduce this crisis of the actual structure being being threatened. So that's oil problems, the oil pipeline, the fires, the drill repair, and then the structural. The second thing is the rescuing the workers. There are 4 specific kinds of things you can try and do to help that out. There is a trench crew that is underwater. They're down near the base of this drill, sort of in lower underwater platforms, and they're all in their undersea gear. They've probably already got the ability to get away from it if they want to, but there's clearly them needing rescue under that circumstance. There is a elevator that is able to take you from the rig itself down underwater to that point where those people are, and that may be something you can try and help with. It's not necessarily working right now. There are rig technicians. These are people who do all the manual labor and trying to figure out everything that goes on with removing oil from the earth and handling the drill up on the deck. And lastly, you may also need to rescue the scientists and administration personnel who are in one of these higher building areas up on the rig too. So that's trench workers, the elevator that gets down to them, and the rig technicians, and the scientists and admin. Is that fairly clear for you folks?
Crystal.
Cool.
We're on it.
And more.
Yeah, and you can decide how you're going to do this. Obviously, as a team, you would be nominating each other as you go through, and you can direct it. The assumption will always be that, assuming that Softboiled doesn't just take the thing and fly off somewhere else, that he can help coordinate moving around. You don't really need to necessarily say, I spend my entire turn getting there. We'll just have you get there. But there will be a problem if you want to help each other out on when it's not your turn. If you are not present or maybe able to do it, then you won't be able to lend your relationship die to help each other out too. Cool, that's all the exposition I need to give you, and I'll let you go to Butters first. Softboiled.
Okay, so as we start approaching the rig and can kind of see, first on the horizon, this big smoky, horrible mess of a fire. The approach I want to be able to take with this ship, just sort of based on, a couple years worth of marine rescue in these types of situations, is to find like the optimal spot to leave the hammerhead sort of hovering, so that we can sort of use that as our base of operation, like the place that'll be most accessible and easy to rescue folks, that also isn't like in direct path of like a possible explosion and stuff like that. So I think that would sort of be his first move, is to find like the optimal place to sort of like set us up so that we can begin rescue operations.
Okay. Which of the two pools do you think you'll be helping out with that move?
I think I'm going to pull that from Lancy and Air.
No, I mean, which of the two crisis pools, the oil rig itself and the rescuing workers?
Oh, so I think this is probably rescuing workers, first of all. Just finding a good place to have like our winch set up and, stretcher equipment and stuff that we can start moving down and start pulling people out of the rig and out of the water.
Yeah. Just of interest, there's room for about 30 passengers on the back of this thing. Or was it 20? Depending on whether we have it loaded up. Nesting Doll, do you remember?
I think 30.
There are twice as many of that in number of actual souls on this rig. So there will be a moment when you have to somehow get a way to get them off that doesn't involve just shipping them off with the hammerhead. But let's have me roll my dice. That will be a useful start, so you can tell me how badly you need to get this thing.
Quick question on that, Cam, maybe.
Yeah.
So that 30 capacity, is that to allow people to, have a comfortable trip, or is that like filled to the brim, people sitting on each other's laps?
Pretty much the latter.
Okay,
it's
got it. All right.
not the best trip you'd ever have. I mean, it wouldn't be as bad as being in a big. You're talking about if you dumped all the resource pools out the back, you'd have room for 10 more.
Okay, got it. Perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and if we jettison our resources, we can fit up to 60.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we wouldn't have any resources.
60.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you wanted, you could jettison all the resources now, and then you'd have tons of room for everybody to go on board, but you only have room for half the people.
Got it. Perfect. Thanks.
Yep, no worries. All right. I'll put my 4 dice into my little handy dandy rolling thing here, and then I will show you what you're dealing with. This is for you as your difficulty here, soft boiled. So, all right, I get a 15. That will be the amount you have to beat. You have to get at least a 16 to do this.
Ooh.
So this,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty like it's rickety. I mean, you're coming in and you're seeing what you're dealing with. Like, oh god, it's not stable. It looks pretty difficult.
All right. There's definitely this moment where it's sort of like the jerk cocky facade sort of just melts off of Sam as sort of the situation sort of rolls back, and some of that old training and that old life sort of start to pour back, because it's probably been about 10 years since he was actively trying to do things like this. I think the first thing he's going to start really focusing on is those technicians on the actual deck.
Yeah, they're all they look pretty bad.
Okay.
But they're all milling around and trying to do something to get off this, but there's obviously no thing. And when you pull up, the movement of the actual hammerhead does clear some of the smoke. So you see that smoke roll back, and you see all these people.
Okay, yeah, that's when like the sort of like bead of sweat sort of starts coming down off of soft boiled. So basically, I'm sort of hitting the autopilot to kind of keep the ship where it is for now, so I can go back and oversee sending the winch down and setting up stretcher in case people are immobile and all that good stuff to start getting that process started. That said, I can't fly the ship and do this myself, so I probably have to trust somebody to help me do it, to actively do the people moving.
So you're asking for help, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to ask for help. And just based on the first trip out, I think that's got to be Flourish. Listen, I don't know if you've ever had to drop down into burning wreckage and start strapping people into stretchers, but I saw the way you were handling things during that earthquake. You just had a way with people. You calm people down. People tend to listen to what you have to say. That's 90% of the job. So for dice pool to set this up.
So let me give you a bit of an understanding of when you're using the vehicle to do things. You do actually use one of the vehicle stats, not your prime. Your
oh wow! Okay, cool.
Which is helpful. So you get to look at the vehicle. It's got systems D8, engines D10, which is mostly for speed when you're flying fast, and frame of D8, which is anything which revolves the thing itself as a structure itself. So systems is what you're probably going to use.
Yeah, so that'll be system. So I'll add that first.
Yep.
There's that systems D8.
You do, however, use your own training packages, whichever one is appropriate. And I think
that Marine Recovery will probably be
Marine Recovery, yeah.
Which isn't great. It's only a 6. If I was playing to win, I'd try to finagle a way to use legal specialist. But it's time for the slightly out of shape retiree to jump back in with Marine Recovery. And then let's see here. Distinctions would be life before.
Yep.
Sort of kicking that training back into gear. And then I wouldn't use my dice with Flourish, right? She would use her.
Yeah, what you get if assuming Flourish wants to help you, I'm assuming that's the case. She would give you her relationship die to you, what her relationship is.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I should approach this after talking a lot of crap about the crew and the program itself. I'm now standing in front of all of them, in front of this like open platform in the back, and I pointed at a big winch system, and I'm like, who wants to be lowered down into a big smoking wreckage of death by me?
Listen, I'm always game for that, but these fires also have to be put out. So wherever you want me, Micah.
I think yes. Let's get Haymaker down first so that he can start handling the fires.
All right. So Haymaker is in fact going to lend you assistance as opposed to Flourish.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Probably good because I like you decently well. So Soft Boiled knows their stuff, and you'll get a D8.
There we go.
So I'll drag that D8 in. Or can I? I think since I've already dragged in the D8 from the ship, I can't drag in a second.
You should be able to.
D8. Or since I have a D8 for Flourish, I can just cheat and put that one in.
Does that work?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yep, that worked.
It's
okay.
And in character.
Wow.
The hack. Okay, here we go.
So you got a 14.
Really?
The good news is for you.
Points? Do we have any
you've
points?
got one plot point to start with. You can everyone's got a plot point.
Oh right, that's right.
You can pull that 4 that you rolled in the D6 into your total.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna use that plot point, and I guess that that plot point is going to be like as Haymaker is glowering at me as I get him strapped in. I just like get in with that eye contact, and I'm just like, my problem's with the program, not you. Let's just get these people saved.
That's
I
my
like it.
priority, but
All right.
we're gonna have to watch out for that mouth a little bit.
Okay, so then I'm just gonna click that 4.
I want to specify before I go, though, that I am strapping some of the ship explosive resources onto me as safely as possible.
So you can
before I
go
go down.
swinging into the fire and blow up. Is that what your plan is?
I mean, no, I am an expert firefighter, and I know that oil fires sometimes require like dynamite blasting to actually put them out. So that's what I'm doing.
Very good.
Ooh.
So the net result of this, Joe, is that when Sam comes swinging out over there, or no, when you position the ship and you do that sort of stuff, Haymaker's coming down to help out. You don't beat the D8s, any of the D8s there in the pool already with your effect die, which is a D8, but you do step one down. So what you've done is you've slightly diminished one of the 4 dice in the pool. Now we have 3 D8s and 1 D6 for the rescuing prisoners side of this thing. So you're like, almost like you're setting up for the removal of some people as opposed to having taken care of it.
Right. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Who's going next in that case?
Then I think in that case, sort of with soft-boiled sort of handling this, he's just gonna take cues from Flourish and sort of put that ball in her court.
All right. So it's Flourish's go.
All right. Let's see. Looking what these crisis pools are. Where did? Oh, sorry. Where did? Okay, there it went. All right. What should we look at? So we have Haymaker heading down to deal with the fires. We have people on an upper level, people on the deck, and people below. And we need to fix an elevator.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'd like to do actually? I'd
Mhm.
like to get on the rig and see if there's lifeboats. I mean, I imagine people would have looked for them already. So if there were lifeboats, they'd be out. But
It's possible that they have had access to them blocked for some reason, or you
Okay.
may have. Yeah.
I'll look for lifeboats first, because
Okay.
then that can help us solve the problem of not having enough room in the ship for
Yeah.
everyone.
What I'm going to assume is that what Softball did last time with the winch and everything laying Haymaker down, you kind of set up a good situation where anyone else can get off the hammerhead as well. So you're free to do that. So why don't you, if you have any resources you want to spend, you have to commit them before your dice roll. It
Mhm.
just lets us know that you've done that. So for example, if you wanted to use land, sea, air resources out of your pools, you could do that now and say, I'm going to use 1 or 2 or 3. The one thing I'll let you know is that no matter how many you spend, you roll those 3 and find out how much you can use. It's the highest rolling die. So you don't get all 3 of them to add to your total at the end. You just get 1. But the more dice you spend out of the pool, the better your chances of getting a high number. So
Okay.
yeah, you could say, I'm going to commit one of these things to it, and then Mellie will update that on the list of your resources.
Okay. I probably would like to use 1 land, sea, air support, because that might help with locating some sea support. And do I just add that die?
We'll do that after you do our roll.
I do a separate roll. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going to roll the difficulty for you first. Now, as I said last time, this is now 3 8s and 1 6 dice in here. So it's not as bad as it was before with the soft boil, but it's still pretty bad. And obviously, true to form, I've started rolling my opportunities, my hitches on my dice. At this stage, though, it's not really that useful to you unless you want to activate it for a plot point and renew something, but it's not going to do a whole lot at the moment. So anyway, it does mean I can't get to use it. My difficulty total only is 10. So you can be at 10 and you should be able to do it.
Okay. All right. Not as bad as 15. Okay. I'm going to use physical. Okay. Physical. And maybe I wonder if I should use my logistics for this.
Yeah, I think that's actually that's you're trying to approach it from the point of view of the logistics of the system that's on this rig, right? It's their inventory, their gear, their stuff.
Yeah, like what do we have available to us here?
You can also supplement it with whatever the Hammerheads got. So if for some reason they don't have good enough lifeboats, you've got inflatables you can just ditch out.
Right. Okay, and then always wants to plan in advance. I feel like this is definitely Flourish leaning into that tendency to be like, what's already here? Like there was a plan for emergencies. Let's see what that plan was. And then I would like some assistance from whoever would like to offer. If someone is like, oh, I wonder if someone like points me in a direction of where to look for lifeboats.
Yes, so Nesting Doll is working on sort of figuring out this sonar so we can just figure out where things are inside. Maybe pulling up some blueprints, and I can calm you with directions and
Great.
alternate routes if you get blocked.
Snaps. Love it. Thank you.
And it's a D8 for you.
D8. I'm going to use
What is
the
your
trick
relationship, Nesting Doll, with Flourish?
Flourish knows their stuff.
Okay.
Nice. I'm using the trick of using someone else's relationship on my thing for the D8. That seems
works.
to work well. All right, I think I'm ready to roll.
And don't forget, whenever you roll, you're still going to get to roll one die later on to add to it.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
Good. Yes, that's beautiful.
Okay.
Great. So
we've got a D8 effect die, because that's good. You'll be able to get rid of that 1d6 that's in the pool, but you may not need to. Maybe you can get rid of another one because you've already got 4 higher than what the difficulty is. Now, if you clear your roll and roll just 1d6.
all right, this is for the land, air, sea.
Correct.
Okay.
20 is your total now.
Oh, all right.
So what that means? What does that mean? That means that you've got a double heroic success.
Means we're gonna have a giveaway going on in the chat. The mods will get that set up, so keep an eye out for what that keyword is.
Heroic successes mean you step up your effect die by 1 step for each heroic success you got. So you got 2, so it goes up from a D8 to a D10 to a D12. That's perfectly good for removing one of those D8s from this particular crisis pool, as opposed to that low D6. So I'll have that done. How successful was it? Maybe you can narrate how useful your efforts were on clearing up that lifeboat situation.
So I had dropped down on the line that Softboil established, and I'm just dropped right by the central command station, center station on the oil rig. And with Nesting Doll's information from looking up blueprints of this oil rig, not only do we find all the supplies that are needed, medical supplies, life vests, lifeboats. We also find some other lifeboats that were like on the opposite side of the rig, just tucked under. So we just find all the lifeboats and supplies.
That's awesome. So you clear a whole die off the pool, and that means that a lot of these people are now starting to get their bodies and panic stuff into lifeboats to clear off the rig. Fantastic.
Yes.
Flourish,
Okay.
who are you going to nominate to go next, or do you nominate one of the 2 crisis pools to go next?
Real quick, Cam, just so out of that rescuing workers, which one, like, is there a location that these are primarily coming into the lifeboats to get rid of that die?
We're talking about
4
this
different
being,
things.
This is admin and science people, I think, because we were talking about having. Now, normally you don't assign like a thing to each die. That's more like a general guideline of where you can approach this. If you have another way of doing it, like you might say, I have another idea to help make this pool smaller, it'll also be good. But I'm just giving you this as a breakdown so you can kind of go into it with a little more understanding of what you could do. And in this case, I'm pretty certain you've got a lot of these people in white suits, not suits, but white lab coats, and other officials are kind of fleeing off there, and maybe some of the other people are in there too, but you probably have a bit more to go before the technicians themselves are able to get off. They're the guys in all the big boiler suits, and their faces are all just blackened with smoke, and they're pulling around with Haymaker, approaching them and trying to get that side of it. So yeah, you've got rid of that side of it. Who do you want to have to go next?
I feel like everyone else has been put into a position to help, so let's have Doolittle go next.
So, in that case, I want to take care of this oil spill. I want to go ahead and take care of that so that we have a better area to work with. And I think the way I want to go about it is opening up some bags of sorbates over the oil so that it sucks some up, and we can dump it out of the actual Hammerhead ship.
Cool.
Science, yo.
Science.
Yeah. This is the sort of thing that Hammerhead has. I mean, World Crisis Agency knows their stuff. They've shipped that stuff out to your depot like months and months ago. This is standard.
Yeah.
Are you spending a resource dice to do that, or are you going to just assume it's part of our normal operations for the Hammerhead?
Let me see. I'm going to assume that's part of normal operations.
Yep.
We deal with a lot of oil spills.
Obviously. All right.
I mean, if you want it, we have that one food and shelter dye, and it's a food preservative also. So use that dye we don't really need for anything else.
That's true because they're both silicates.
Except for the pizza.
The pizza goes flooding out the back.
Unless
Pizza
Cam reveals
flies
that some
out.
of the scientists have blood sugar issues, I don't see a need for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Look, you'd have to stop preempting me there, Joe. It's
sorry.
No.
Pizza goes.
All right, I'll roll this and tell you how badly you got to deal with it. Oh goodness, yeah, I did really well this time. That's a 14.
No! Okay. So, got to roll against a 14. So I'm assuming this would be a mental. There isn't a ton of strength in the bag lifting. It's just figuring out is it physical?
Did you want to use the system on the ship? Since you're on the Hammerhead, you could use the ship's systems instead of your own. But mentals, I don't mind using mental. You got like a D10, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to use mine because I get a D10 with mental.
Okay, that's cool. You're not really piloting after all, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The
So I
option's
got
always available to use a ship itself and of its stats instead of yours if you're on the ship.
Okay. And is this one training package wise that logistics would come in handy for?
Could be. You could maybe get away with saying it's marine, but I don't think so. I think it's more a sciencey logistics thing. I'd let you do that too.
All right, so I'll do mental and logistics. And you know what? I think I'm going to try and use my quirk as a positive because some sorbets contain eggshells.
Yep.
And I'm going to use her egg obsession for this one. So it'd be the 8 or the 4 that I use as the quirker if I'm using it as a positive.
It's the 8 unless you want to use it for a 4 to give yourself a plot point, in which case it's getting in your way.
Got it. So
you're saying it's helping you.
yeah, so I'm going to use it with the 8 because I just think it's neat. And I'm going to go ahead and roll. Doot.
Well, that's not going to be enough. In fact,
no!
even rolling a die isn't going to do a thing with that. Let's just assume you're going to roll your D6 resource and it does nothing. So explain to me why, with all this great ideas and stuff, you just the ship flies under the rig and sort of dumps a whole bunch of sorbates at the back. Is there something actually wrong with it? Did you make a miscalculation?
So basically, I'm hanging out at the terminal. I pull the lever that opens up all of our sorbates onto the oil spill. But for some reason, Definitely not a mistake of mine. Has to be something weird with the ship. It instead opens the hatch that has a food reserve in it, and just dozens of frozen pizzas land onto the oil spill.
No.
There is nothing worse than too greasy pizza.
And 20 of them.
And Haymaker's just looking at, what is she doing?
Yeah, you're dangling off this this winch cable, getting into position, Haymaker, and you're just seeing all the pizza, all the frozen food just go straight down to the ocean.
They keep telling me I've put on a few pounds, but this is too far.
This is a carb elimination diet move right now. All right.
Very artistic shot though, with him like swinging and just pizza falling all around him.
I swear it wasn't me. I think maybe something got rewired. I wouldn't do this to you, Haymaker.
All right, Doodle. Do you want to have a crisis pull go next, or some other person on your team? We've still got to see who hasn't acted yet. Nesting Doll hasn't acted.
Yeah.
And Haymaker.
And Haymaker hasn't acted.
Well, since I've done more damage to Haymaker than helping this oil spill, let's go to the person who took the biggest emotional hit today.
So that's Nesting Doll, right? No, I'm just all right. So with Haymaker, first of all, as he's trying to land onto the platform in the safe spot that Softboiled kind of set up the winch and all of that, I do secure the other side of the cable that I was coming down on, where it can make an easier way for anybody else to get down if they need to. And then I am looking, and the first thing that I wanted to see, so there are fires here.
Yeah.
Can I tell, I probably should be able to with my expertise, can I tell if these are oil-based fires or if they are just like electronics, like wood burning, walls burning, those kind of fires?
No, they're definitely oil-based. A lot of the oil has spouted back up along the pipeline and basically doused a whole six on the deck, at which point some electrical faults did start and spark it, right? So there's not as much of the sort of slick hazmat material you have to deal with. It is really a firefighting job. But you've got, and so do they. They have the equipment there to deal with it. There's no one there right now who's able to manage it.
Got it. And so that being the case, the admins and scientists is one of the reasons I was asking the question. Are all the levels above me clear at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So no civilians or anything up above the level that we're on. So Haymaker is going to pick up one of the frozen pizzas that landed on the platform and stuff it into his suit to make sure that he has that for later. And then he is going to take out some of the explosives so I am trying to use the what was it? Tactical
resource.
Yeah. And I am carefully setting up charges to basically blow out the oil where the fires will stop on this platform. And then I am going to obviously use the rest of the any of the hoses or anything else. I'm hoping that they're not just using water, because apparently that won't work in my Googling. And so doing all that, like trying to find all of that and trying to clear out the fire on this level.
Yeah, most of this is, I think, flame retardant foam and other kinds of stuff that does bond with things and puts out oil fires.
Okay.
So I'll roll for that and show you just what you're facing there, Haymaker. It's a 14. I'm doing really well. I have to tell you, everybody, I'm happy with my rolls this
Yeah,
session.
you are.
I'm very frustrated.
Great job.
So you've got plenty of
We are,
resources. You can spend those resource dice to make yourselves feel better. Just don't roll like a 6.
All right. So in this case, I don't know. Do you think it's more mental or physical here? Like the placement of the explosives, is that mental, or just how coordinated I am? Or
well, I think you're running around doing it and trying to set them up. So that's something I would allow you to do for physical.
That's a great
describing
thing.
it kind of that way.
Yeah, I sure was on purpose. All right. And then we will say that with my distinction, I will use firefighting for the training package. And then this is absolutely, I can do this all day at this point.
Are you going to call for any assistance from another person in the group?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to, as I'm calling out, who has not used help this time? Has anybody, is anybody free to use help? Because you can only do that once per turn, right?
Only you and me
Yeah.
have used it so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can help.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
so I'm over the comm as I'm placing all of this. I am verifying with Micah, since she has been kind of doing a rundown of the layout with Nesting Doll and figuring out where these lifeboats are. I am just calling out to confirm and ensure that there aren't any civilians up above when these explosives go off, and making sure that there's, I'm telling her the vectors that the explosions are going to blow out the oil, and making sure there's nothing below that I'm going to hit there.
Yeah, and Flourish, you're off that level now because you're helping people get down, but you're in a perfect position to lend a hand on that front.
And what is the die with Haymaker?
That would be a D6 from me because you owe me big.
Okay. We'll have to tell that story
Fun
sometime.
to say that. Yeah, I know. We got a story there. Actually, I think last week I did say that I introduced you to your agent.
Yes, that was it.
I think that's what it is.
I do owe you very big. I wouldn't be anywhere without my
Well, you were both in entertainment / performance before, weren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So here we go, and we'll roll the resource pool after this. Big money. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what did you roll?
I rolled 14.
So
You
with the
tied
resource
before your
pool,
resource.
I can do this, right?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay.
If you can, in fact, if you get a 6 on your resource pool, you'll get a heroic success. But I'm not going to say you can take that for granted.
We'll see what happens.
And you did.
No, wait, I didn't roll it yet.
Okay, you did.
No, a 4. Won't. But I did win a success here. So.
I just realized too, to flash back to
Well done.
I realized too that you may have rolled a 1 Doolittle on your attempt last time, and I thought it was a 6, but that's fine. Retroactively, it's still good, and you got 2 heroic successes. That's all fine. All right. So yes, you got a 4.
Yes. So that was a total of 18.
Fantastic. And you got a D10 effect dice. So you've taken out one of those structural issue problems. In fact, the fires are all gone.
Excellent.
Describe the immediate response of what happens there.
So I set the charges. I'm verifying with Flourish from her under eye view of where everybody is, and then here goes nothing, and I hit the button and the charges blow out, and as they are, I pick up Super Soaker style the foam and just start blowing out the fire as it's on the horizon, where hopefully it's not going to fall and create any problems on its way down.
And if you've seen the spotlight, the setting in the book, there is that one classic drawing or illustration of the firefighter spraying everything. It's in a forest, but if you can place instead behind that tall gantries and things instead.
I'm expecting people to Photoshop that somehow, within the next couple of days. Tag us when you do. But then the other part of this is the pizza is kind of riding a little bit bad in the suit, and so I readjust that and then just give 2 big thumbs up to people up in the Hammerhead.
All right, is a nesting doll who hasn't gone yet?
I'm actually going to let the crisis pool go before Nesting Doll, because I think it is a terrible idea for us to continually let them just gang up on us at the end of our turns.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to let, in this case, since I'm on the structure, I'm going to let that crisis pool go at this point.
Which is currently 3d8. All right, so I'm going to have the crisis pool, the structural one that's going to attack instead of building up and getting worse, which I have the choice of doing either one. I can make one of the dice step up by 1, or I can just decide to have it do something awful to somebody. And maybe as a kind of a sort of a subsequent aftershock of what you did by blowing a lot of these things out, super successful. It maybe wasn't a heroic success. Maybe you had a partial issue with that. Some of this stuff still coming down. Flourish, you are caught in a whole lot of things are kind of falling and collapsing, and maybe in a way that wasn't necessarily how you'd want it. And so I'm going to have it attack you. This comes in the form of, collapsing deck around you and everything else. You're kind of running away from that. Just like everything else, I roll this as a difficulty, and you try and beat it with a dice pull. This isn't your turn. This is you reacting to the crisis pull, but it will have an effect that if I beat you, you'll take stress, which is a problem for you. The good news is it's only 3d8, so I might not do that badly. Let's find out. All right. So a 13. Yeah. You can't ask for help when you're being opposed by this. This is not a thing you can get help with, but you can use resources if you need to.
You got this.
Okay.
Phil.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm going to definitely use physical. Let's see. I mean, training package. Any suggestions? Like tactical?
Of not being hit by things?
Yeah.
I'll let you use urban recovery.
Yeah. Okay.
You know how
Sounds
to get around things
good.
collapsing if they're like buildings. That's what's going on.
It's true. Some of the
People
places
threw
where
fruit.
we yes, escaping, dodging things. Some of the places where we had ballroom competitions were very broken down old buildings. So, yes.
No, I think that the urban recovery does give you an insight. This reflects part of your background training as well as the training you got when you joined the Hammerheads too.
So you're saying ballroom dancer, your life before, I can take an 8 in that?
I do.
I
I
do.
believe that's totally fine.
Great. I'm graceful as I dodge things as well.
Now, before you do anything else too, Flourish, you also have the ability to use some of your SFX that might be able to be helpful in this occasion to get your dice pool a bit bigger. If you're concerned about trying to beat that 13.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're, you can step up an attribute when you connect to your old life, right? That's cost a plot point. And you can spend a plot point to re-roll your dice when you're aligned with your true nature, which in your case is finding the grandeur and everything. Well, lastly, you can double a relationship dice when your assistance embraces your quirk or quality. But in this case, there's no relationship dice to double because you don't get to use that on this. So I guess what I'm saying is you could put physical to D10 if you wanted to, if you spend a plot point.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, now you should be able to step it up in the pool. Is that correct?
Yep, there it is.
Awesome.
And
put the plot point down by 1, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, I think I'm ready to roll.
Crossing fingers.
Oh, so close.
Oh, it's a shame. I mean, you did a good job. That was a good pull. 11 does not beat 15. 13,
no.
I mean.
And
you also got a hitch.
And I got a hitch. Do I, you said something about a reroll. Would I have had to ask for that beforehand? Or
no.
Oh, so I could potentially reroll one of these?
If you had a plot point to spend on it, you could.
Oh, but I spent my plot point.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the only downside of that, yeah.
Then I guess I'm taking some stress.
Yeah.
I asked if it was clear down there.
You take D8 stress to your physical. That stuff starts to whack at you. Now, the good news is the D8 physical stress does not make you shaken unless it gets to D10 because you got D8 physical, right? So I only did a D8 on you. What did you roll? 11? No, I didn't, and I didn't get a heroic success on my side of it, so it wasn't stepped up. So you've taken D8 stress. It's shaking. It's not necessarily things falling on your head giving you injuries, but it is your nerves are really rattled. You've got you may be exhausted from running out of the way of things. It's pretty full on. So you do have that stress now.
Okay.
All right. Because I got to go, since you let me do that, I will then nominate the next person, and I will be making Haymaker. No, Haymaker, you went. Nesting Doll goes next.
Okay. I'm first likely going to make sure that I put up the blueprints up on all of the screens inside. But then I'm going to say, okay, you've got that. Okay, Butterball and Doolittle, you keep an eye on that. And then I'm just going to like hook up and get out of here real fast and make my way to the elevator because I want to get that fixed. So I'm going to try to get that door open and get inside and go up on top to figure out whatever the mechanical problem is there, because otherwise there's gonna be people trapped.
Yeah, it's a bad scene.
Yes.
Cool.
So, is this going to be a mental for figuring it out, or a physical for?
You're talking about
busting
running
in?
through a sort of a collapsing structure at this point, trying to get to an elevator. Now, the good news is this is the rescue workers pool, not the structure pool to roll against. So it's not as bad as that is. But I would say it's going to be physical.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to use my physical, and my mechanical training package to fix this. What am I rolling against?
Let me tell you.
Don't roll good.
Well, I can't promise you anything.
He's tearing it up today.
13.
Okay.
You gotta have a word with our delightful coders there, Adam. They're giving me a bit of an edge.
Random
Well,
number
last
generation.
time it didn't work out so good for you, so.
Yeah.
I think it got tweaked in between.
I'm going to use my approach, which is let eyes be afraid, hands have work to do. But I'm going to hinder it because I just kind of ran in, and just pulling this door open and not really taking care. So I'm going to use my D4 and get a plot point.
Cool. Do you want to grab some resource dice? Like the IT network support might be.
Yeah, I do want to grab that so that I can kind of connect into the ship with this. So I'll use one of those. And I don't know if who's still available to help Doolittle and Softboiled. If either of you have maybe a help from the ship you can offer.
I'm down to help.
Yeah, as I get this network set up and I can calm back into you guys.
Because Softboiled's still behind the stick, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah.
It's maybe a bit about the positioning of the hammerhead in a way that's easy for you to get to that elevator as opposed to crossing the entire collapsing deck. That might be helpful too.
Yeah, so I'll just sort of start just like coordinating with Nesting Doll on sort of where best to position the ship to really like link up with her.
And this is going to be a huge die.
I realized I think I did my character sheet backwards because it's my relationship to Nesting Doll is that Nesting Doll is a liability, but it's got a D10 attached to it.
You care that much that I'm
because
alive.
I think in my head when I was creating my character sheet, it frustrates me so much that Nesting Doll is on the team.
That is not.
That's why you got to help me.
That's why you got her in your sights where you can keep an eye on her.
I gave my
Exactly.
biggest feelings the biggest dice.
That's true.
And really, I want to go really fast, but you're like, oh, I'm to move the ship.
Maybe it's because I'm trying to prove so hard that you're out to sabotage us that I'm going to help extra hard.
Yeah, I'm recording this moment. The cameras are on.
Exactly.
Oh, good. I'm starting a TikTok account. Make sure you get good angle. As I go down, make sure that I do some push-ups to make my muscle look really big.
I love
I mean,
that.
that's a 10 you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I feel like this will go pretty good. And then I got an extra D6 to add after, so boop.
Yeah.
Roll in it.
Oh, no.
Oh, good.
Two
Look at
pitches?
2 pitches.
Oh
Now,
my god.
I have
Okay.
to spend dice out of the crisis pool to activate a hitch,
It's true. So it is good in some way.
and I can give you a complication if that happens. But I think, and I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna spare my D6 out of the pool, and the D6 comes in at D8 because you got 2 hitches, so it's not a D6, it's D8. D8 complication on you is that you feel under the wire, like you got this issue that you now it seems to come down to you. There's people trapped. It isn't like you've got stress. It's like you've got this thing that's bugging you in the back of your mind, telling you that you've got this issue on, and the pressure is starting to build up. So that's a D8 complication on you for the next things that you do from now on involving this problem. But
Okay, let me roll my d6 on this.
I did remove my d6 out of the pool. Did you actually beat it? We'll have to find out. Don't we?
I'm adding a d6, so I'm adding 3 to my 12 for 15.
Then success. That's good.
But it's only a d4 effect die.
Was it a d4 before?
It was a d4 before.
Yeah, because
so
all
I
your
can only
dice
step
count
down.
pictures. All right, you drop down the remaining. There's 2 d8 remaining. One of them now is a d6. So there's a d8 and d6 in this pool. So that was actually overall, you did reduce the problem.
I have lots of plot points too, which will be great later.
And were you fixing the elevator with that move?
Yes, that is the elevator getting fixed.
Yeah.
So
now it
with-
is functional.
With the hitch, like what she like grabbed the doors and it like
I think I'm like on top of like working on the mechanical problem and I get it like kind of loosed and the cable just and I'm just like falling.
Yeah.
But I managed to just like get it just in time.
and
It's good. The elevator is now function. It's functional. It works.
there's this feeling also for you, nesting doll, that you can't make any more mistakes, right? Like that's the last time you can do it. That's the pressure. Oh, plus the good news was Softboard recorded all of that on.
On the GoPro, I'm waiting.
Yep.
All right. Well, since you have no one else to choose to go next, because it is just a crisis pool, I will do that for this one. It's the D8, D6. People are trying to get out. I'm going to make it a little bit bad. I'm going to step up one of those D6s to D8. So, although you've got the thing, you can hear down on the comms inside the elevator, nesting doll. You can hear the sound of the trench crew trying to report back. I mean, they're using the network through the drill and things to get out there, and you're hearing it, and it's like, shh, no time, cracks, the sealant. So that's the crisis pool getting a bit worse. Back to the top of the next round. So, like, Micah, you get to pick again who goes first because you are team leader. You may want to decide that someone more appropriate goes next as opposed to, I don't know, soft-boiled or...
Have we had the other crisis pool have a turn yet?
Yes, I just did that at the end, and what happened was...
Oh, you just did it?
Yeah, instead of attacking, it got worse. So it has a choice. I can have it attack one of you, or I can have it grow worse. And I chose to make the rescuing prisoners get a bit worse because, yeah.
That was the turn. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well then, let's see.
I mean, you can have it go again and make it worse again if you want, but that's probably not a good idea.
No, yeah. Looking at what we have left. So we have the oil spill, drill needs to be repaired, support pillar structure damage. Trench crews underwater. I think, you know what? I mean, nesting doll, since you're already underwater, you're already in the elevator and things just got worse for those trench crew workers. Why don't you go next to help them out?
Okay, just FYI, not always best with the people, but I can try. See how it go.
You don't have to charm them. You just have to save their lives.
Just smile a lot. I see that carries me really far. So
yeah, show them your teeth.
Ha ha! Come with me, I help you.
To like everyone but primates, that's not a threat.
Are we not primates? I thought that's what we were.
A little bit more. We got like thumbs and petty theft.
Okay, I will get the elevator will keep going down. So yeah, I hear that there is like an issue with the sealant and everything. So maybe I want to be prepared for what's going to happen when I get down there.
Now you've got your standard Hammerheads uniform on. I'm assuming you also have the thing with the hood, so you can keep it from having any gas coming in or other kinds of irritants. Mm-hmm. This is not necessarily the thing you wear underwater. This is not necessarily pressurized to be outside in the ocean. Mm-hmm. So there might be a slight issue with the fact that if you fail on this one, you may, well, it might not be great. So I'm just letting you
drown.
Maybe I'm gonna ask maybe Flourish for help. because she saw where there were supplies. Maybe I can make a stop on the way for something else that I can, as a, like a, if there's
I'm
anything
imagining
that
this-
they would use as like, you know, they'd have to go out and fix something in the water, that maybe there's some kind of equipment that I can access that she's seen.
So this elevator is it's plunging down like to the ocean depths at this point. So yeah.
Dang it. Oh,
All right,
crap.
I'm very prepared. All righty. Well, I'm going down. Yes, I guess I'm prepared. Would I? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna get. I don't.
I mean, I'm open to use coming up with some clever thing, Flourish. If you think you can actually pitch in, that would be super good because you know. What the hell?
I mean, elevator shaft is open.
I could drop. Is there some type of
Send a
suit
drone.
that I could send down? Yeah, like
so you're
in a
like-
capsule, a weighted capsule or something.
You're on the deck itself, right, Flourish? And so you see the elevator ahead, and you know that she's like, help, help, help. So you could like grab something and just toss it down the shaft if you want, and then trust that it's going to help her out in some way.
Yeah, I would like to send down, maybe even just, how about we keep it simple, just like some type of breathing face mask and oxygen. I'll drop that down.
That's going to cover her
Great.
teeth. What's she's going to do with the teeth?
You'll have to
How's that?
find some other way. Use your hands.
This is
I
the
need
universal
Butters
sign
to
of
teach me
I
how to
know.
smize.
Uh.
And I'm going to get that all set up and get down there, and I see, I guess, what's going on with these people, and hopefully I'll be
Mhm.
able to. I'm very worried about what's going on with how much water there's going to be, but
Yeah, you'll get a D10 from me.
oh,
Ooh,
sweet!
good.
Wow,
That's right.
I
Everyone
think
likes these
everybody
people.
likes me, or everybody cares a lot about me, rather.
Everyone
I feel
has
like you know
intense
your
feelings.
stuff.
Strong emotions.
Excellent. What am I rolling against?
Well, it's 2d8, but it's also got an extra d8 because of the wonders of your complication. So I'm rolling that. You have to worry about a 13.
All right. Okay, so I think this is gonna be my physical, as I kind of have to. I'm assuming that when I get down there, like opening these doors, even getting out of this elevator is even gonna be a physical feat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have much choice but to use marine recovery, which is a D4, which is really quality. And I'm gonna definitely spend a PP here with my. Again, this is let eyes be afraid. The hands have work to do. I'm just gonna get down to it. And you know what? I'll just save my PP for re-rolling because hopefully I'll be okay with that. And then I get.
I mean, you've got that thing where your quirk or quality lets you double your relationship die when... Oh, that's your assistance. Not
Yeah, I'm
assistance.
using my approach, which would let me step up my training package, which could be a D6, but I could just save my PP for updating my results, which I feel better about.
That's cool.
So I'm gonna do that. So I got 8, 4, 8, 10. I'm rolling them. Oh, wow. I'm rolling real good.
If she lives, this is really going to slap on
I can
TikTok.
I'm gonna spend a PP to re-roll though.
Do it. Reroll it.
So yeah, let's try that again. 4, 8, and 10. And no hitches this time. No hitches this time. What was I rolling to beat? I forgot.
13.
13. I can only meet it with the darn 2. Can I
Okay.
do that reroll thing more than once if I have the PP to spend?
Yes.
Okay. Spending all of my PP on this. I'm trying one more time.
I'm such
If
a
you
child.
get like 3 hitches, I'll just... I don't know what I'm going to say.
It's gonna be the worst. I still have 2. I'm spending 1, so I have 1 left. Come on. Hey, okay, I'm spending my last PP to move that 3 to make it 15.
All right.
That's all of my plot points.
No PP.
Yeah, people have commented, Adam, about that short form of the of plot point. That's why I typically say plot point. so people can.
I just
you-
want
Smile big,
everybody to
everyone.
have a little bit of extra joy.
I don't understand. What's the problem with saying pee-pee?
Elementary school comedy. All right. You got rid of you stepped one down. You got a D8 effect die, right? And so that you stepped down the last of the. There was 2D8. Now it's D8 and D6 again. When you get down, maybe you want to narrate next until you get down there. You put the breather on like halfway down or nearly at the end, and you see that outside of the elevator area is like an airlock, right? And you can see in the airlock itself, there's cracks coming in, the water is spurting in and so forth. And beyond the airlock door are these people waiting to be able to get into the airlock to get to the elevator. They can't because they're worried if they open up, it's going to just vent.
Blasting through.
You, with all your ability, rolling several times and so forth and so on, you did arrive at this point now with a plan. And how do you solve this issue?
Yeah, so I think at this point, getting in there, seeing this airlock, so I know that I can at least exit the elevator without any problem. But I realize obviously I can't just open this door. So I think actually I comm back to Flourish using the comms I set up with the last roll to work on setting up a way that we can actually just open it on their end and like kind of blast something open on the outside. Or some other kind of hatch or something, and let Flourish organize that, and just kind of give those directions to the people through there, so that we can get them out without having to actually like risk losing this elevator up, because that's not going to work for anybody.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you mitigate some of the problem, but not all of it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also very much, we don't have a lot of time, so that under the wire complication still sucks.
That's true. All right, who's next?
I'm going to pass it to Flourish.
All right. Well, I was just looking at what else needs to be done. On my last turn, how do we find out how many people are now in lifeboats? Or do we?
You've taken care of all that stuff. I mean, people have more or less gone off there. I think your problem with the rig technicians are still around, and the trench crew and so yeah, there's some people still on the deck that you're on, which are trying to get off that level, and were made available to that with the lifeboats. But these, you think the remainder must have to go onto the Hammerhead. You don't think you've got enough to get the rest of them off?
That's fine. The scientists are gone. Scientists and admin.
They've all gone. I mean, obviously the admin, who are the executives and the people with the higher salaries, have gotten off quite handily with the lifeboats. And you notice with some interest that they've left the technicians here to their fates.
Oof. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to let the technicians wait for a moment, because I think I want to focus on the pillar structure, because if it all comes crashing down while we're trying to rescue the technicians, that's bad too.
Yep.
So I'm gonna turn my focus to assessing the damage to the pillars and seeing if I can boost their support so that they don't crash. It doesn't all fall down.
Yeah. So this role will not only be like assessing it, you'll also have come up with a plan to address some of the cracks and cracking and other instability. Yeah, no problem. So put together that pull. And this is you're rolling against the rig itself thing, which is still a 3d8.
Okay.
Oh, well, giving you a break now. It's just 11.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've gotten the 2 lower difficulties.
You have.
Thankfully. Knock on wood. I want to spread that to everyone, though.
I'm going to also give you a break by saying this is not a physical thing. This will be all mental.
All right.
Which you've already decided. That means that your stress does not play a part in it.
All of mine are the same anyway. Physical, mental, and social are all 8. So
it's just that you've got D8 physical stress right now, which means if you were to include that, it would have been on the opposing pool as well, right?
Well, thank you for that then. All right. Okay. So training packages. I was going to say urban recovery.
Yep.
Because architecture type deal. My approach to find the grandeur and everything. Weirdly, I want to say that will hinder me because it would be pretty spectacular to see an oil rig crash into the ocean.
You know, I like it. It gives you a plot point. You need those.
I do need a plot point. All right.
Just don't say this out loud to your teammates. Otherwise, they
No.
might start
Yeah.
questioning.
Too late.
And legit, like Aliza actually does spend hours and hours on YouTube watching like big wave videos and oil rigs being tossed in ocean. So this is like a real thing that I would be like, whoa, that's so cool. Okay. I will ask for help. To whoever might have some input on structural things as well. Does anyone
Let me see.
have anything like that?
I can give some structural input.
Okay.
From a science point of view, right?
It's a science point of view, and trees, man.
There you go.
We're
I don't
going
know.
this. We're going with this.
They have roots.
I'm gonna do some
and
some
trunks.
good.
Are you
Thank
saying, Vanessa, that you get on the comms and just say, "Hey, trees, man," and then see if that helps?
Trees, man.
So I just hop on the comm and just, hey, trees, man. Put a tree.
Yes. Yes, of course. That
Now, if
makes
it
me
fails-
think of.
If it fails, we know why. Okay, so Doolittle, what is your relationship die to flourish?
My relationship die to flourish is she knows her stuff and it's 6.
All right.
Right. Thank you. 6.
Awesome.
Of the resources, I mean, is it worth using a land sea air support? What do we think?
Yeah, there's probably something you can recondition out of that.
All right, then I'll throw in another after this.
Yeah.
Another D6. Okay, I'm ready to roll.
Go ahead.
I see a 9 and a 4. Really? Oh. Wait, where's
13.
my roll? Oh, 13. Okay.
And you got a D10. You clearing away. It totally fixed
And
it.
has another d6 to add to it. So
Yeah.
might
Roll to
be
see
even
if
better.
there's a potential you may get a heroic success if you're lucky. So roll that D6.
All
Okay.
right. So I got 13 plus 2.
Not quite.
Not
Almost.
quite.
Almost a
One
heroic success, but that's fine.
Sorry, chat.
The chat will understand that it's time pressured situation where they can't necessarily always be heroic in our actions. All right, Flourish, you did a fantastic job there. You knocked out one of the dice. Do you want to do a quick summary of how that managed to get successful?
So I was able to assess which of the pillars is the most cracked, and there was some heavy duty foam patching material, and so I was able to like fill some of the biggest cracks with that foam to just stabilize it a little bit.
Cool. Now, are you hanging off on like cables on the side and doing this like in a very sort of precarious way?
Yes, I am.
I'm not putting any words into your mouth there, but that sounds like
That sounds cool. Yes,
I would like
am.
that, please.
All right. Nominate the next person to go.
All right. Who wants to go? Who would like to go?
I'm down.
Doolittle? All right.
Awesome. So in that case, I want to take care of those rig technicians that are still trapped on the deck.
Yep.
So what I want to do is I'm still on the ship because I'm still reeling from the pizza incident. How it will be referred to for the rest of my character's life. And I want to send a little zip line to the rig that can go back and forth so we can slowly get the people onto the ship.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought she was going to say the pizza's back on the ship.
The pizzas are gone, Hank.
Okay, so this is going to be
Not
on
this
to
one.
the rescuing workers crisis pool, which is
Mhm.
currently a D8 and D6.
Okay.
Let me roll it. Tell you how badly you must. I mean, this is going to be a simple thing. I don't think I can roll that high, right? I mean, I could get 2 hitches.
Oh, botch.
That's a botch. You know what? So just roll to see how amazingly you do, because whatever you roll is a clear way of success, and then let's describe it.
All right, let's just roll. Let's say roll mental.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I really need to add anything else to that. Let's take a look how that goes. Cool, it's above ones.
Oh, you didn't put your entire dice pool together. That's
whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the whole thing together and see if we can get
Yeah.
through
Do
it.
the whole thing and let's see
So
how
let's
good.
do mental,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna do my approach and attitude. And what would you say marine recovery for this one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Eh,
Haha!
15.
triple heroic success.
Triple heroic success. Now, this is important because you got a D8 effect die, right?
Yep.
I got zip, nothing. You beat with triple heroic success, you step that up to D10, then to D12, right? And that's one, and then you get an extra D6 effect, which you can apply. So you've got 2 effect dice now. The D12 removes the D8 off that, and then the D6 extra reduces the remaining D6 in the pull down to a D4. At which point I make it go away because I don't like D4s and priceless pulls. Your ability to do this not only got them off, but you sort of you've coordinated enough that you've got the folks who come up the elevator using the flourishes. They also arrive and then want to get off the thing. So quick, everyone's up there. Quick, get them off.
So I'm getting everybody on there. I'm guiding them. I'm just, everybody get on the ship. Follow the bird to your guest quarters. You'll know when you get there because it says Sam Butters on the door. just huddle up in there.
Now, obviously, Sam is at the stick and helping you with this, even if you didn't call on his assistance. Are you having him go next?
You know what? Since it looks like he has to find a place to sleep tonight, yes.
All right.
Okay, so
oh, by the way, one whole crisis pull is also gone. So I don't know if Mellie, if you noticed that triple heroic success and a crisis pull gone.
Yeah, so two winners will be drawn for this giveaway, which is !triple.
okay.
Cool.
So now that all the workers are rescued, and we have all of these folks milling about and everything, I sort of find my way back into the pool of folks that I guess they're all finding themselves in my quarters now, and I'm like, all right, folks, I've got good news and I got bad news. The good news is that you're off that death trap. The bad news is I need a couple of technicians that understand that drill to go back down with me so that we can get this drill repaired.
I love it.
So,
the drill and the spilling oil, the only thing that really kind of remained yet. But obviously, if you manage to succeed with this, regardless, we'll kind of all together. But you're looking at I think it's 2d8 right now.
okay.
Is all that's opposing you. You have no complications, no stress, nothing else. So it's going to be a total of 10 to beat. 10.
Okay, got it. And then in the meantime, Flourish is hanging on a thing but safe. And okay, yeah. I was just trying to remember who was in danger and who was not.
Well, Haymaker's still out there on the deck too.
He's doing his thing. He's good though. He's like a beefy tank kind of guy. He's good. Okay, so Softboiled has inspired a couple of technicians to return to this drill with him to start doing some emergency repairs on the drill to sort of see if we can't stop this problem at its source.
Mm-hmm.
So just using his glowing draw as a celebrity among these incredible blue collar workers. I'm going to go social.
Yep.
With my attributes. let's see here. For his training packages, I'm gonna go. Mechanic.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, mechanic. His days of fixing things for the Air Force, and then I'm gonna use his life before as a help.
That's when you. That's you making sure everyone understands that you are.
Yeah. Unless Cam, you really feel like a few of them are just like, no, man, we hate your podcast. In which case, I'll use that as a hindrance and get a plot point.
Well, we're hoping that you won't need that extra plot point because you do have
true.
you have none, right? So yeah, maybe you should do that. There's probably a few of them who look at you sideways, going, "Yeah, I will help you," but
Okay, yeah. So a few of them are like a little less than impressed. So I'm going to switch that to a hindrance so I can earn my plot point.
Yep.
So like one of the technicians is just like, I listened to your episode on flat Earth theory, and so yeah, I'm like arguing with him about flat Earth theory as we go down on this winch, and
Are you using any resources?
yeah,
We
what do
have a lot.
yeah,
have
what
a
do we
lot.
still have available?
We got 3 med supplies, 1 tactical support, 2 network support, 2 land, sea, air support.
Let's go. I'll use I guess land, sea, air.
Why don't you blow 2 of them just to have a better chance of rolling high?
Okay, sounds good. So
Yeah.
I will, and so those are D.
6.
Well, they're d6s. You roll them afterwards.
Okay, I'll roll those afterwards. Okay, so I'm
roll
going to use
2, and then the highest of the 2 that roll is what you add to your total. So you're going to have at least 1.
Okay, so I'm going to roll my initial
Mm-hmm.
little chunk here. So pop.
Oh, good. Well, it's a good thing you did actually commit those because you not only got a hitch there, you only rolled an 8.
Okay, and then okay, that sucked. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to use the 2 land, sea, air packages. Let's see here. So for literally got the mechanics of doing that, I'm going to minimize and then just add a D6 to my pool.
No, in the
2d6.
turn. Yeah,
And
in
your
the
turn.
turn.
In
And
the
then,
turn, got it.
yeah.
Show roll.
And then add 2d6. If you can do 2d6s, you can put 2 dice into the pool.
Yeah,
2 6-sided dice.
perfect. Here we go. Bop, bop, bop.
Roll those. And don't ignore the total. Just pick the high. Oh, okay. There we go.
Oh,
6.
Right. Okay, 6. Perfect.
All right. That was a 14.
14. Yeah, not terrible.
But your effect die was only a d4, which means you've dropped one of those 2 d8s down to a d6.
unless you're going to activate, are you going to activate? It would be such a great idea for you to do that.
You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to activate that because I should have done it before. But I'm spending one of the d8s out of the crisis pool to give you a quote fan mail or new fan that is going to have you complication.
Flat Earth guy got real inspired.
I'm gonna have Mellie make a note too, if you don't mind, to have that persist to the next session because new fan is gonna come up next time. D8 new fan. All right, so success. You do reduce 1 down to D6. It's all that's left is a D6 in that pool.
All right, perfect. And then I'm going to, especially because we passed him on the deck as he's heroically doing his thing, I'm going to pass it to Haymaker.
All right. So Haymaker, it looks like we've got the drill is starting to get fixed. It looks like everything is slowing down there, and we still have oil spilling out. And I understand, as a big pet owner, my tragic backstory includes a dog. I don't want the dogs of the sea lions, to be impacted too much here with what's going on with this oil. And so I noticed that the biggest part of the leak, I'm frantically going to the technicians. Where's the primary source? Where's it leaking? And they're kind of pointing out one of the cracks in the reservoir that's leaking the most, and it's kind of a half level down. So I am going to take out of the. Do we have any dice left in? Was it tactical?
Yep, 1 dice left in tactical.
Yep. You got
Okay,
one
so
left.
I'm going to use that, and this is going to be a kind of a welding solution that's not going to make this go boom. Because it's used for underwater welding and some other things. And so I'm basically going to be trying to weld off a piece of this, but then it's still going to have to be placed in the right way. And I'm gonna have to just essentially like just pull it down as hard as I can. And I'm literally just trying to yank this down in place where it's going to stop the oil from spilling out anymore.
It's a masterful way to incorporate physical as your
It was such a great idea. All right, so physical and in this urban recovery, or what do you think is most appropriate here?
I'm thinking this is going to be hazmat.
Hazmat. Okay. All right, we'll go with hazmat. And your life before, he is just pulling this with his amazing wrestling physique and trying to get it in place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am going to call for some moral support from Nesting Doll. All right, you know what to play, Nesting Doll.
Oh, I sure do. And it's okay because I set up the network in the elevator, so I got it. And I'll play the Eurotrash version of your theme song. It's a D10 for you because you saved my life once.
I'm waiting for this to be like the K-pop version, and then the other one is. Yeah.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. Oh, you've got to roll first. My bad.
Don't worry. I'll tell you how much. Can you beat a 2, Adam? Can you beat 2?
I absolutely can, because I have already got a 14 with a D8 effect die, but I'm going to spend a plot point. If I spend a plot point right now, can I do something to my effect die?
You can. Well, in what way?
I don't know. I'm asking you because I can't see my SFX right now. Let's see. Here we go. I'll get to them.
You cannot affect your effect die, but you can make your total better.
Okay, I'm going to try to do that because you only got a 2, right?
I did.
So I'm already on heroic success level.
You already are gonna. Yeah, I mean you've got a D8 effect die.
You're
Adam.
double heroic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm spending a plot point to make this the most epic thing. And as I'm pulling it down, I'm like kind of looking at the bicep as it's coming down and everything else. And I'm smiling at the drone that is filming all this for TikTok purposes and everything else. And you could swear that you see a twinkle in my teeth as all this is going on. And
also the top of a pizza box sticking up.
Yeah, it's right there. Just the zippers down just a little bit. Little frozen pizza box right there.
This episode brought to you by Totino's.
6 as well, Adam. I mean, you've already got a 16 by pulling that die in there. That's a double success already. If you want to go ahead and roll your 1d6 from your resource that you spent and committed.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
I'm going to, and it's going to be epic. Epically.
Now you don't roll hitches on resources, so it's fine. But that means the total is 17. What is that, Mellie?
Triple heroic success again. And we got rid of the crisis pool.
You did.
Yes, we did.
So it's going to be exclamation point Eurotrash theme, and there'll be 2 draws for that.
All right. So you did that. That's the effect. Is that not only do we have a sort of flash frozen moment of the drone capturing that, you also get the cheers from the technicians on board the Hammerhead. They're all around you, soft boiled. You can hear them screaming and saying, "Yeah!"
And one over the comm, I'm being sure to say, "Put that on your news show, Butters."
The one guy, your new fan, by the way, soft boiled, he's sort of going. in between all the people running around. He's the one guy who's sort of standing still while the whole crowd moves around, but he's doing this. He's got your number.
Oh no.
Micah, let's go to you, and you describe the way your team managed to pull away from this incident. How does this end up? How does it resolve?
Well, yeah, we got the drill repaired. We got everyone off the rig. It's not going to go down, but it obviously needs major repairs. That's not our job, though. So we pull out with the sight of the still standing but very beat up oil rig in our rear view mirror.
Yeah.
And then one more thing, Hank just says, "Hey, on my way up, can somebody preheat the oven to 400?"
All right, I will
Done.
give you one other piece of interesting long-term story news. You had the whole connection to the ship, to the rig there, nesting doll. Something comes across your sort of data that you sort of gather. You know, you're doing that on the sly. It's all right. It's part of your job, right? There is reference to a private contracting firm called Ascendant that were involved in this place's own, safety regulations and other things. They were hired to make this place as rock solid and good as possible. And you're thinking, that seems very familiar. I wonder why Ascendant sounds familiar. There was a connection with Cortez City's own plans to prepare the city for disaster preparation as well, and Ascendant came up there. They're kind of like well, I won't name any sort of real world groups, but imagine a very, very large private corporation that does stuff on the side and has a lot of influence over things. So yeah, Ascendant, that's a name for you for next time.
Disney.
Oh, I've got their number.
All right. So take us out there, Soft Boiled.
Guys, that's our show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching. We really appreciate it. If you're here with us on Twitch, thank you so much for watching live. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, make sure you like, hit bells, do all the things that YouTube needs you to do. We've got all the appropriate links in the description to follow this amazing cast on Twitter, to find out where you can buy a copy of Cortex Prime, all that good stuff. And we will see everyone next Thursday on Twitch for the 3rd episode of Hammerheads. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.